Okay, so in this video, we're gonna take a look at Spring Scheduler. And what the scheduler is that it'll run a task after a certain amount of time that is being specified by the cron string. So for this, we'll create a new project, call it a scheduler service. Schedule, okay. And let me add the parent to it. This won't be required. And if I go to the post service, I can grab the dependencies. So the first one would be the parent, and the properties. I guess the properties would be there, but and the dependencies, yeah. Let me just grab the whole thing and put it into the scheduler service. That's done. And then okay, let me add a scheduler initializer to this, or I can just take a copy of the existing initializing class. Paste it in here, and this will be scheduler in it. Okay. This will be schedule. No, this will be post model that is present in the post API. Post model, yeah. And this will be post mapper, and this will be schedule that belongs to this package. I mean, get all the entities that, sorry, the components that belong to this schedule package. And then what we're gonna do is create a, now the scheduler has to access two databases, the SQL as well as the Hazelcast. And for that, we'll add the config file. First, before that, will add the properties and the log4j to this. So the one that will be required in this case is I'll be taking it from the user service. Can use this, just this. Paste. Okay. And this looks good. I got this as the scheduler service. It'll be on 120 10020, and this is okay. User, this will be scheduler. Yep, that looks good. And let me start the service. Let me check if the database is connected. Yep. And then Let me start the service now. Okay, the service has started. And let me add few configuration to connect to the Hazelcast server. Configuration, and this will be, there's one more annotation we need to specify over here. It's called enable scheduling. That will allow us to enable the scheduling process, and also the log4j too. Then you add a client config to connect. So I'll pick it up from the post service. Let's see, go to. Now I want to move the logic of loading all the IDs from the post service and the user service and the comment service into a schedule service that will load all the properties, load all the IDs every 10 minutes or 15 minutes into the Hazelcast from the SQL database. So if I go over here, there'll be a client config. This is what I need, and the Hazelcast instance. So I'll pick that up and I'll put it into the scheduler. Okay. And this is okay. Now I need a service. The service will be responsible for holding the code for the scheduler. So I'll just name it as scheduler service. I should say post scheduler service to refer to the post service. So whatever the loading part which belongs to the post service, will put it into the post scheduler service. And this will have, let us auto wire the Hazelcast instance. Let me take a look at the post service that we were initializing it with. Get a tab, and we need this. We got post IDs. Go to this. If it is empty, then fetch it from the database and put it into the this variable. But this logic we will put into a scheduler service so that it will reload all the post IDs after every 10 minutes. And okay, get list post IDs. If it is empty, then get all IDs, but we also need a post repository. So I'll also auto wire this. And Okay, so this needs to be created. We go over here, package, call it repository, and add the repository in here. Go to service, repository, and copy this out. I don't need this. And this will be, call it post. Yep. And it'll get all the IDs from the post. And then it should connect to the database. And yep, it started the service. Now, let me schedulers post service and get random post. Oh, it's in the top. Okay. Load this. Let me first create a scheduler at least that will test that it should run after every 10 seconds. So if I just go to the scheduler service and create a scheduler. Load IDs. And if I put schedule with a cron string, that should load every 10 seconds. Let me just grab it from the internet search. So this will run every 10 seconds. And let me just log.info, loading IDs. We'll just wait for 10 seconds. If it, yeah, see, after it runs after every 10 seconds. I hope it'll run again. Yeah, right. So you got 2430, 2420. Should run 2440. And it'll keep on running after every 10 seconds. So that is done. Now, what we need to do is add a code to get the IDs from the database, right? So we'll go in the post service and grab a code from there, grab this and put it into this part. So now the post IDs will be, go to schedule post service, post IDs, we'll grab it from here. Okay, so it will get the post IDs. If the post IDs is empty, then it'll fetch from the database and put it into the post IDs. Okay, and this will specify how many IDs that have been fetched. And let me run this. Oh, before that, let me log few things. So I'll do log.info. Running a scheduler to load IDs. Not able to find any IDs. IDs was empty. Post IDs is empty. And then it will load all the IDs. Total post IDs loaded. This, okay. Running a scheduler to load IDs. Total post ID loaded is 12. Cool. And since the post IDs was already present into the Hazelcast instance, it ran. It didn't go into this, but what we can do is we can delete Hazelcast instance dot. Oh, we can clear it over here. Post IDs dot clear, and then if it is empty, then it'll load, and then, but we'll get rid of this code. This is just for testing purpose if the if condition is working. Okay, the post IDs is empty. It fetched from the database and loaded. So this works. So let me get rid of this code. And yeah, so this is done. Now let me take a look at anything is that, oh, one more thing that we can do is we need to move this out into a properties file. For that, we can just create a property in our YAML. Let's call it sir. We got external external, let's call it Hazelcast external URL. Or let it be, you call it Hazelcast. And this will be a cluster name. The Hazel cluster, I'm guessing. Wait, let me take a look at this. Yeah, it's Hazel cluster. It'll be a IP and port number. So here it'll be server IP. So that is 192.168.29.206, and it'll be server port. That is 5701. And I need to take this out and put it into the over here, and that will be, or rather I'll be putting it into here, and then at value and we go over here, external dot cluster name, sorry, Hazelcast dot cluster name, so it'll be private string cluster hazelcast server IP. And a server port. And I'll move this into here with a server IP, and let's call it hazelcast. And let me start the service. Have I given a wrong server IP? Let me go to the application config, and this will be let me log it. IP, and then we got port. This will be hazelcast cluster name, comma hazelcast IP, and hazelcast port. And let's see what it logs. So you got cluster name, IP, as well as the port. That seems to be correct. 192.168. Let me put the old code, and oh, it should be a this, and go to this and put a semicolon in between. Now it should work. And we are expecting it to run every 10 seconds for now, but we will update that to 10 minutes. Yeah, so it loaded 12, and yep. And let me change this setting to 10 minutes. So this will be 0, and this will be 10. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.